Hey everybody, it's Fornol. Wanted to make a little video here about this new freeware DAW called Bespoke. This is open source, so you can go get the source code yourself. You can fork the project and make your own version of it if you wanted. Of course, you couldn't sell it, I don't think. That's probably against the license. But anyways, yeah, it's a free DAW. It's available on Linux, Windows, and Mac. So basically, every desktop computer operating system seems to be supported, at least the main ones. And it's kind of an interesting application. It's very different than your traditional digital audio workstation, as you can see just by looking at this here. One of the main differences is, this is the interface right here. It's very similar, so there's no note, there's no sequencer down here and browser over here and all that. I mean, this is it. Now, you can have sequencers in this application, but the way you lay things out, it's like you're building a machine from scratch. It reminds me of if you were into trackers in the old days. Trackers were a low budget way to create digital music and were used to create mini video game soundtracks. And so a tracker called Buzz was very similar to this, where you just built everything. Although in Buzz, you still had your sequencer as like a separate area. So enough talking about it. Let's make this thing do something. Okay, so what you see up here, you have a transport. And right now it's running. So you have your tempo. This is your BPMs. And it's just ticking away. And we also have our scale. And I haven't used this yet. Controls the global scale used by various modules. So I guess there are some modules. If you've ever worked with like a grid based music device, like the circuit, or there's a bunch of them, and you don't have a keyboard, you have a grid of pads. And often the way that they work is you set what the scale is for the grid, because you don't have every key available to you. You might just have 7 pads across, and those are going to represent the different notes of the scale. And you can, have a couple of octaves there, and you can pick what scale you want to be in and what the root note is. And so that's how you can program or play music on the notes that aren't just, drum pads. They're an instrument of some type. And so I believe that's what this is. This is setting the global scale and root note and tuning. So then down here, you see we have a gain going to a splitter, and then 2 outputs, output 1 and 2. So this is the output to your, audio device. I'm not going to go through all the settings, but I set this up to just work with direct sound. I'm on Windows here, and I could have done an ASIO. I could have had it use ASIO, but then a lot of times when you use the ASIO output, it does go into exclusive mode, and I know many DAWs let you select exclusive mode or not. And what that means is if you're in exclusive mode, then no other program can make sound through that audio interface but the one that's active. And so usually if I'm just playing with something where I'm not hitting a pad or playing the keyboard to trigger notes, I don't care about latency, then I'll usually just use the direct sound driver. And then that way I can do anything at the same time. I'm not playing my guitar through it or anything like that. So latency isn't an issue right now. And, you can set your VST plugin folder. I haven't done that. If I try to scan the VSTs right now, it'll hang and then crash because I don't know. I haven't set it up right. Okay, so what you see we have up here, instruments. We have note effects, synths, audio effects, modulators, pulse, other VST, and prefab. So instruments are going to be your note generators, your main note generators. And there's a variety of note generators. And this thing, works with your MIDI or your USB controllers and all that stuff. You can map that up however you want. You can plug your MIDI keyboard in and control stuff. I'm not doing that here. I'm just going to do a sequencer, a note sequencer. We'll pick a note sequencer, and this should look familiar, kinda, if you're used to sequencers and note sequencers in a regular DAW. I have this set for 8 notes, and you can see there's already notes selected here. Now, if I play this, if I unpause this, you can see it's going to play this at the tempo that is set up here. But we don't hear anything because there's no instrument or there's no synth yet. Now, note effects, it lets you take a note. There's different kinds of signals, and I'll show you that in a second, but it lets you take a note and do something to it before you go into a synthesizer or a synth. So let's pick a basic synthesizer. We'll just pick this guy here. And so I've added this. And now what I'm going to do, you see these little dots, they let you connect one thing to the next. So I'm going to connect my note sequencer to my synth. And then I am going to connect my synth to the output chain over here of things. So now when I play, I should be hearing something. Oh, and another kind of neat thing, you get this graphic back here. Maybe that's annoying to you. Doesn't bother me. Okay, so we've got a basic thing happening here. I could add another one of these and another synthesizer and have something else. So let's see, I could have a drum machine, a drum sequencer, and a drum synth. Of course, a drum synth, or not, of course, just if you're not familiar with this, it's not, of course, to you, but a drum synthesizer is a form of drum sound generation that's very old. Some of the very first drum machines were not playing recordings, digital recordings of drum hits. They were using synthesis to create those sounds. And so that's what this is. So we'll run this into here. Put this down here too. And it's saying you're doing something bad. You're doing something bad, mister. Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to do something bad. So what does it want? I don't know. It might want a mixer or something. Who knows? Look at this. We got a multi-track recorder. And I haven't really played with this very much, so you're seeing me after looking at it for 20 minutes. I thought, well, I'll just do a little exploration of this live and we can see what's up. So how do you delete a connection? Backspace. Warning, target expects multi-channel audio, but is only getting mono. Okay. So apparently this thing outputs mono. And this is expecting a multi-channel. So let's do this. Let's, do we have an limiter? Limiter. Oh yeah, that's in other. I did learn this. You have something called an effect, or no, in effects. There's an effects chain. Where was that? Look at that script. What, you could write a script that does some kind of processing of the sound. That seems kind of neat. Okay, here it is, effect chain. And so I can add an effect, and I want to add a limiter. And I don't see a limiter, but I do see a compressor, which if I just turn up the ratio all the way, and the threshold, attack at the lowest, release fairly low. That should give me a brick wall limiter. And I don't know why it's doing that. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Okay, so we've got this thing. Let's make sure it still works. It does. And then we got this. I don't know what the sounds are. Yeah, that's not done. Okay, it looks like only this first one is making a sound. Is that gonna drive you crazy? It's gonna drive me crazy. Let's make it nicer sounding. If I'm gonna have to hear this over and over, we'll make it a little bit nicer sounding. So I wish this space key triggered the pause. That would have been nice. Let's see. What can we do here? I don't know much about this device, but I sort of, I understand basic synthesis. So what is bi-quad? It's a filter, low pass filter. Okay. Just tweaking these a little just to see what I can get. I'm sure there's got to be other settings to this. Again, I am new to this, so I don't know Okay, now why isn't this one on? Okay, let's try something else with that going. So we'll do a what? Let's get another note sequencer going, because I'm not, I don't know how to do all the other stuff. And I understand this. And the synth we can use, let's pause it. The synth we can use will be, this time, let's do a oscillator. So just a single oscillator. Excuse me. We drag that guy into our limiter. Okay. Single oscillator. And what was the key I was in? A. A, B, D sharp. Okay. These are just ADSR envelopes here. Oh, okay. So I could. Oh, and here's the length. I can make it. Okay, so it's like it's lame. It's just a basic thing, but we got something kind of going. Let's just add a few effects to it, and that'll be it. This is just a little review. I know I haven't talked anything about how would you save and record what you're doing and all that. That's a whole different ball of wax. So. And wax. take you guys. Take me down. Ugh. Oh. Can I go one little guy to the next? Okay. And I will do some reverb on this bad boy now. Sound, you know, you need a percussive to hear the reverb correctly. But anyways, let's see, we could probably make a hi-hat really easy. Just noise, right? Just noise. Where's my middle? Adjust the volume, but I don't know how. Oh. There you go. Okay, so anyways, that's that. Just a little fun playing with this thing. If this looks cool to you, you can check it out. Hold on, let me see real quick. Well, you just search Bespoke Synth, you'll find it. All right, later.